Hello wrestling fans, the Wrestling Wizard here and welcome to another video. And in this video, we're going to try and predict the next feud for Uncle Howdy's Wyatt Sicks. Who is Uncle Howdy targeting? Who was that message for from this week's episode of Monday Night Raw? But one thing I will say is this feud is massive for the Wyatt Sicks, this faction, and for WWE fans to get fully invested in this act. Now, I know this might be a little bit controversial, but I certainly feel that the ending of the Wyatt Sicks American-made feud fell a little bit flat, in my personal opinion. And of course, Uncle Howdy's motives, reasons for going after Chad Gable specifically, was because he stopped saying thank you and treated his family like absolute dirt. I mean, the way he treated Otis, Tozawa, and of course, Maxine Dupree was pretty despicable. But did Chad Gable learn from this? No. He went on to say, I'm done with the Wyatt Sicks freaks, moving on to bigger and better things. And since then, American Made have been booked pretty strongly. So he hasn't really learned his lesson. What did the Wyatt Sicks really do to change or influence Chad Gable? I mean, he'd already turned heel before they went after him, and I just kind of feel we need a little bit more answers there. I really feel like we need a little bit more depth when it comes to the next feud. I want to hear from the other characters. I want to hear from Joe Gacy. I want to hear from Dexter Lumis. What are their motives, reasons for joining the Wyatt Sicks? And yes, they've touched upon the fact that they were in a way damaged goods, I suppose, if you like, lost souls, and they've suffered in the past hurt and pain, abandonment, and been abandoned by families in the past. But at the end of the day, we need a little bit more than that. So let's turn our attention to the first person on my list. Now, you might have a different list, but this is just my personal picks. And I'm going to go for Karrion Kross. Now, I think this is unlikely, mainly because I think they're really ramping up the Karrion Kross character. And I think the Karrion Kross character, Karrion Kross's promos, don't get enough credit. Think of all the changes in personality that Karrion Kross is responsible for through his interactions with previous superstars. Remember when he took away Nakamura's honor? He took away Drew McIntyre's temperament? He took away Rey Mysterio's patience? Madcap Moss, remember him back in the day, took away his joy? Amongst changing other characters such as AJ Styles and more recently, of course, The Miz and The New Day, potentially with Xavier Woods in this storyline. I love this whole Karrion Kross playing the sort of devil on the shoulder type character, influencing, affecting other characters and trying to get them, ultimately, I suppose you could say, to quote Bray Wyatt, to revel in what you are, to revel in who they are, and to bring out their true self. I really like that. Now, of course, we know that Karrion Kross was a massive Bray Wyatt fan. So much so, he got the Bray Wyatt logo tattooed on his arm. So there is well a possibility that Karrion Kross is absolutely desperate to work with the Wyatt Sicks. And why not? Surely it would be his dream to do that. So yes, it could work, but I actually think at the moment Karrion Kross can go in his own direction. So there is well the possibility that the Wyatt Sicks could target Karrion Kross. I mean, he has been responsible for a lot of wrongdoings when it comes to superstars, so it makes sense, but I'd like to see a fresh new direction for Karrion Kross. That promo he delivered recently was fire. He can kill it, and there's so much more to give with Karrion Kross, and I feel like he's got his own unique twist to his character on a personal level, and I'd like to see more of it, to be honest with you. Next up on the list, of course, Braun Strowman. Now, there have been some recent reports suggesting that Braun Strowman actually got an injury in the last Monster Standing match against Bronson Reed on Raw. A groin tear or something, I've heard. But, assuming he's okay, and of course that's the main thing here, potentially the Wyatt Sicks might target Braun Strowman. But I don't think it would be in the way you think. I think it would be more of a call to a brother. That Braun Strowman is an ally to the Wyatt Sicks, and I think that's a lot of the messaging we've been getting, and it feels like the Braun Strowman teasers are almost like a red herring, but I do certainly feel that they're connected in some way. It's more of an ally call, more of a call to join the faction, as opposed to the Wyatt Sicks going after Braun Strowman in a destructive way. But what do you think? And of course, that moves on to the obvious one in, of course, Alexa Bliss. And I don't think she's a target of the Wyatt Sicks. I've said this for some time on this channel. I believe, honestly, that Alexa Bliss will join the Wyatt Sicks. I believe this has been the plan all along. And I know a lot of fans harp on about WrestleMania 37 betraying the Fiend and all of that. She should be an enemy of the Wyatt Sicks. But let's not dress it up. That was a Vince McMahon booking decision. It was daft. And then Bray Wyatt, upon his return, had to pick up the pieces. Obviously created this Uncle Howdy character. And let's just put it down to the fact that Alexa Bliss thought she was in control. And she wasn't. It was actually Uncle Howdy who was in control. And the lighter, weaker side of Bray at the time at WrestleMania 37 and Alexa were responsible for killing the world. I'm the ghost of the man who sold the world in Uncle Howdy, who was part of Bray Wyatt's darkest psyche. I think without overcomplicating this too much, Alexa Bliss was never really a target as in an enemy of the Wyatt Sicks. It was just Uncle Howdy proving that he was the one in control. He was the puppet master and not Alexa Bliss. I think there's no more to it than that. And I would not be surprised if we see a new, absolutely badass character from Alexa Bliss. Dark Alexa, maybe a cross split personality with Dark Alexa Bliss and Goddess Alexa Bliss, the evil goddess or something like that along those lines. And I'm all down for it. Now, of course, that moves us on to more recent storylines and a certain character we cannot ignore in Xavier Woods. It certainly looks like Xavier Woods is turning to the heel side. Karrion Kross would be very pleased about that. And Uncle Howdy is maybe sending out a warning to Xavier Woods. He's got time to change or reconsider his actions. But to this moment, we haven't seen a fully fledged Xavier Woods heel turn yet. It hasn't happened yet, so there's still time, but maybe, just maybe, Uncle Howdy and the Wyatt Sicks target Xavier Woods after a heel turn. And of course, and this is my main kind of number one pick at the moment, I have slightly changed my mind since Wiz Reviews Raw, where I was pretty specifically like, it's got to be only to do with Braun Strowman and Alexa Bliss, but I think there's a strong possibility that they go after The Miz. The Miz turning heel, turning on R-Truth, destroying the Awesome Truth, and again, much to the delight of Karrion Kross, who's, by the way, was responsible for this in some way, I suppose, after what he said to The Miz. The Miz is a logical opponent. He could join Karrion Kross's crew for a short-term storyline, hook up and then oppose the Wyatt Sicks. But maybe the message that we got from the Wyatt Sicks to whoever they were talking about was specifically The Miz prior to him turning heel. But he ignored their message and turned heel anyway. The Miz, you cannot rule out in all of this a potential target. And to summarise as well, we cannot rule out the whole of the Judgment Day, specifically Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan. There's a motive there for the Wyatt Sicks, especially with Dominic Mysterio betraying his family, betraying his father, his deadbeat dad in Rey Mysterio. I mean, there's serious motive there. Uncle Howdy hates liars. He hates people that betray his family. So, hey, he could go after Dominic Mysterio, right? And also, we can't ignore the Pluto logos all the previous weeks in the background in women's segments, specifically women's tag team champion segments or former tag team champion segments. So, maybe, just maybe, and I'm pretty confident in saying this, they're teasing the reunion between Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross at some point. That will happen. I'm pretty confident in saying that. But then at the same time, there's reports suggesting that Alexa Bliss isn't going to be back to WWE until 2025. But we can't always take for gospel what the dirt sheet reporters say. So maybe WWE were just swerving them so that they wouldn't spoil the surprise. But Alexa Bliss has been very active on social media lately and making references to the darker versions of her character. So maybe, just maybe, we see the return of Alexa Bliss sooner rather than later. What do you think? Get down in the comments section, share your thoughts and opinions. Who do you specifically think the Wyatt Sicks are targeting? Who is Uncle Howdy talking to? What do you think? Thank you so much for watching the video. As always, it'd be very much appreciated if you could like the video, share the video, and even better, subscribe if you're new. We'll catch you in the next one.